Good morning for me, everybody, and good afternoon to everybody overseas. I'm delighted to be here today from Harrogate. And if you're not aware of where Harrogate is, it's in the north of the UK. Just to give you a little bit of background on me, I've been involved for over 20 years now in care catering of the elderly, and I have the amazing position of being the National Chair for the Nacc, which is the second time I've done this role, and it is a role that I take very seriously because obviously care catering is at the heart of everybody's care, particularly with the elderly. So the Nacc, as we call it, has been going for over 30 years. It's an organisation that really supports everybody that works in the sector here in the UK. So whether you are a provider of services in a care home or Meals on Wheels or a day service, or you are a supplier, we very much work together with suppliers because we feel that the two work very much hand in hand. We give all sorts of benefits to our members. It includes all the things that are listed here, whether it's targeted training, access to our website, webinars. We have various initiatives happening during the year. So it's really important that we really focus on membership benefits. We're very proud of our national events. So every year we have the Nacc Care Chef of the Year competition. This is where we invite people within the sector to really showcase the incredible food that they're producing in care homes. This year has not taken place, though we had the cook-offs, but we anticipate having the final in the new year. We did look at doing it via webinar, but it doesn't quite work. So we hope that we'll be able to do that next year. The other key focus for us is Meals on Wheels. Care catering is really important in care homes, as we all know, but there are a lot of people within the sector who live at home and potentially, in some cases, are socially isolated. So the Meals on Wheels service is more than just a meal. It's about providing a meal, but it's giving that well-being check. It's about the interaction. So we celebrate that every year in November, and we've just had a very successful week where we've really focused on our Meals on Wheels heroes, because obviously during the pandemic there have been a lot more people isolated at home. So we've really focused this last few weeks on the importance of the service and how people have turned out day in, day out, delivering that vital hot meal to those people living in their own homes. The other really important annual event that we hold is the National Training and Development Forum. So this is an event where we gather together and learn from expert care catering speakers who can show us in workshops with like-minded colleagues, all under one roof, what's the latest that's going on, latest products, services, and obviously advice. We always try to get motivational speakers to come along and inspire people. And also it's about deepening people's knowledge and discovering the latest thinking in food, drink and technology. When we hold that annual event, we also hold our annual awards. So we are very keen to promote and congratulate people who work in the sector. So every year we hold our annual awards after the National Training Development Forum. And that's about the celebration of people who are working day in, day out in our sector. The Nacc is made up of regions, and if you're familiar with the UK, we divide our country up into 6 regions. So we have Scotland, Wales, and then we divide the actual mainland into 4 different areas. And those regional chairs then really focus on supporting those people in those areas. So we, during the year, hold different seminars and events, and we also have that ability to be able to contact people direct and speak to them and offer support and the various services. We encourage people, whether they're a supplier or a person working in a care home, to engage with us. And obviously this year it's been different for all of us, so we've done a lot more online, and interesting, that has worked really well. I think we all agree there's nothing better than being in personal contact with people, but this year we've all had to adjust and do things differently, and we felt that this year more than ever it was really important to focus on those people in our sector. We're very proud of our annual yearbook. We produce that usually around the time of our AGM and our Training and Development Forum. And this is packed full of information for all our members. And we also use it as a really important marketing tool. It celebrates everything that we've achieved during the year across the country. And it also showcases some really special things that are going on in different regions. So, one of the key focuses of the NACC is very much about how we support people with good practice guides. So we've been very proud of our practice guides that we have produced over the years and continually update. And these are available to members and non-members, and they really are a huge source of knowledge and information. And it's all about how we can improve the standards in catering and the benefit to the service users. So if anybody's interested in that, you will be able to visit our, at the end, the website address. So the key focus for the NACC is about how we look at and support people working in the sector on malnutrition and dehydration or hydration. And obviously, working in the sector, whether you're in a care home or whether you are working elsewhere, it is really important that we really focus on the signs and symptoms of malnutrition and dehydration. So malnutrition occurs when a person is not eating enough of the right food. And this means they don't get all the nutrients such as proteins and vitamins. And being nourished can make a person ill, as your body requires the fuel to function. Being ill can also lead to malnutrition. This often leads to poor eating habits. And malnutrition is not just about what happens in old age. It's important that you don't miss the signs as being part of that old age. There is much that can be done to help prevent malnutrition. And the key is to ensure that the underlying causes are assessed. And obviously, working within the care sector, this is really key, that we have to all the time look at people's ability to access food, and that obviously food on a plate is absolutely key every day. So we have to look at who is at risk of malnutrition, and it can be people who have got reduced mobility, which can affect shopping and cooking, particularly for those people who are living in the community. And that's why we feel that the Meals on Wheels service that is provided across the UK is absolutely key, because there are people who are housebound, there are people living alone, and there are people who are showing symptoms of depression, and obviously sometimes there are people living at home with dementia. We also need to focus on people's recovering from serious illness or a condition likely to affect their ability to eat, and that could be a stroke or a heart attack or other serious underlying health conditions. And obviously people with mental health is also an issue. We also need to look at, sometimes it could be just a simple problem with people's mouths and dental issues, because that can cause malnutrition. And if it makes eating difficult and painful, the only way to check is for them to have access to a dentist. So spotting the signs and symptoms of malnutrition within the care sector is really key, and that is why it's really important to ensure that staff are trained. We need to look at things like, is the person losing weight? Is the person eating and drinking? Are they experiencing anything, difficulties with choking? Are they unable to keep warm? And again, this is about having access to hot food. Do they complain of dizziness? Are they prone to falls? And I'm sure everybody that works in the sector knows that as people get older, unfortunately, they do become more susceptible to falling. Are they showing signs of pressure ulcers, or do they have dry skin? And are they prone to reoccurring infections? And do they have difficulties in chewing and swallowing? And I know that there are other experts around on this seminar that are going to be showing you about the issues on chewing and swallowing. So it is really important of how we can ensure people have access to sharing meals with others, going to relatives or informal carers, attending local cafes, pub lunches, visiting voluntary and community organisations where they can provide lunch clubs, and using private shopping services and meal preparation, and of course using online supermarket home deliveries. And of course, the most important thing is being able to sit with them and encourage them to eat. And this is what's really key, not only just in care homes, but also in the community. One of the other factors is dehydration. water makes up 2/3 of our body. It's vital that we drink enough to maintain a healthy balance. And most people get dehydrated by not drinking enough fluids, or by losing the fluids and not replacing them. I think everybody is actually at risk of dehydration. We all are aware of how many glasses of water that we need to drink every day. But I think in our sector, it's people who are dependent on others, and about it, reminding people that they have to drink. It's also about people who've got swallowing difficulties, people who may have a raised temperature, and then obviously people who are sick. And also sometimes it's people that take part in strenuous activities. It's really key to spot the signs and the symptoms. Is the person eating and drinking less than usual? Is the person coloured or small amounts and often strong smelling in relation to their water outtake? Is the person regularly complaining of headaches, or are they feeling tired? Does the person appear to have a dry mouth? Do they lack concentration? Are they easily distracted? Do they appear confused? And are they prone to urinary tract infections? And sometimes you might find that people are continually thirsty. So what do we do if we're concerned? And you can help prevent dehydration in yourself and others by recognising the early warning signs, planning visits around meal times to get a sense of what they're drinking and if they have difficulty in drinking. And that's why it's really key that meal times isn't just about the meal, it's about the whole experience. And all people should have access to some kind of drink, whether it's a hot or a cold drink, with their meals. And that's sitting down and having a cup of tea, which obviously in the UK is a really important daily occupation about how we drink tea when we're socially with friends and relatives. Encouraging around 8 drinks per day, such as after a meal and at snack time, and ensuring both hot and cold drinks are safe and freely accessible. And that's really key, particularly in the care homes. And of course, there is water content in other foods as well, whether it's ice cream, lollies, jellies, nourishing soups, or water-rich fruits such as melon. And of course, having access to both social and health services. Drinking enough fluid can also assist in preventing and treating headaches, urinary tract infections, constipation, dizziness and confusion, which of course we all know leads to falls, cognitive impairment, memory loss, kidney stones, poor oral health, and pressure ulcers. And of course, that's really key, particularly with elderly people, when they're potentially sitting down or sometimes obviously in nursing homes, laying down in bed. So what to drink? Try to drink at least 8 drinks a day. Any fluid except alcohol counts, including milk, water, tea, coffee, and fruit juice. So one of the key aims of the NACC is to raise the awareness of nutrition and hydration within the healthcare sector. And that, again, is not just through our webinars that we hold during the year across the regions, but also, as I said, at our training and development forum. And this is how we are able to access and show people how to screen the clients well and tell the staff statistics too, because sometimes people don't really understand what is the ultimate issue that is going to affect people within the sector. It's also very important to involve each resident in activities and the eating experience. And we believe here in the UK that it's about the whole experience, it's the whole dining experience. And it's very important to combine hydration with the social experience. So whether you have a trolley that goes out with different drinks on it, whether it's the hot drinks, cold drinks, it's about the whole experience and about how you can have an activity around that. And obviously key and underpins everything that we do is how we train and empower all our staff, how we educate them, and how it's important about education and catering and how it's combined. There are many ways to access and empower staff to train and understand the importance of hydration and nutrition. And that is, again, where the NACC, with all the documents that we produce, all the manuals, we try to underpin that across the whole sector. And within the care homes, it's also very important to know what your goals and gaps are and to devise and adapt a policy to suit your organisation that supports nutrition and hydration. And again, through the NHS and various other stakeholders that are involved in care and support, in the UK, we're able to access a lot of resources, and we have access to dietitians, and it's really keen to actually work directly with those. And what's really key for us is how we work with our suppliers. So again, at the NACC, the partnership that we have with suppliers and those people who work in the sector is very, very important, because they're able to come and give us support on products, but also it's really about how we have that access to all their knowledge, their products, and also, in some cases, their chefs who can come along and work with them. So, if you are interested in anything that the NACC does, this is our address. We're based in the lovely county of West Sussex. I'm able to share with you how you can access our email addresses. And obviously, we welcome you to actually look on our website. And obviously, if there's anything that you might be interested in relation to the NACC going forward, we work a lot across the world. We're doing some very interesting work in Canada at the moment with a similar organisation like ours. And in the past, we have worked in a lot of detail with other countries, because obviously we all have an older population. So it's really keen that we all work together. I've been absolutely delighted to present to you today, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the conference.
I'm Yiru, the founder and CEO of Silver Connect. As you can see on this slide, we have two brands. Gentle Foods is locally produced in Singapore, and Flavors Creation is it's a product we exclusively distribute in Singapore, because this will fully integrate the whole solution from a food perspective to the drinks and what's. Okay, please like us and share with us on this Facebook and our Instagram, because we regularly post our food products and new innovation here. Okay, Silver Connect is a 100% Singapore company, and Gentle Foods, as I mentioned, is a brand and trademark of Silver Connect. And of course, we distribute for Flavors Creation. I mean, this is something which we think that there's none available in Singapore, and we like to work with them because of their innovation. And as a company itself, we believe that we have to innovate in this space, especially in dysphagia and nutrition. Well, Gentle Food, as I mentioned, is a trademark of Silver Connect. We especially wanted to create, molded puree food that is familiar, safe, and nutritious. Because if the food is not appetizing, I think this is basically what I did when I visited all the nursing homes, and some of my friends who stayed in the hospital and had to be on a puree diet. I mean, if you see a bowl of a blend and you don't know what exactly it is, it doesn't stimulate the appetite. So that's why this is one of the reasons why this company was started 2 years ago. And from the looks of it, the taste and the smell, and we want to bring joy to food into people's lives with swallowing difficulties. And at this moment, we are providing ready-to-eat frozen meals, individual packs, which you'll see later. And for more information, you can visit our website, mygentlefoods.com. Okay, so the company purpose, is to give back what life took away. So you can see this plate of chicken rice steaming away. So we create such thing, and we infuse what the current flavors of Singapore. So we've done a lot of R&D before we take this out into the production scale. And at this moment, we want to give back time to the caregiver. We understand that basically the time is spent to take care of, your loved ones who is sick, and there are so many things in life that you take care. The nourishment by engaging the appetite of these patients, and the joy of eating a meal with the family. We don't want to be ostracizing, the sick one or the elderly one, and they say, hey, you just have to eat this. It is something which I also experienced where some of our clients say, hey, we can eat together this plate of chicken rice with them. And also, lastly, to bring back memorable flavors to the seniors with quality ingredients, because every food that we develop, we understand the ingredient that goes in. I mean, we have an in-house dietitian to look at the balance and the ingredients that goes in. And in the next few slides, I like to share what we have done in last 2 years, in terms of research collaboration with local hospital. And as you can see here, this was done early last year before COVID strike. So we presented at one of the conference. That time we were able to present what food. So the objective of the study is to really resemble the regular appearance of the real food. And and the other thing that we had to also look into it is to enhance the local flavors. And thirdly, because of the speech therapists and the dietitian in the hospital, we want to more or less look at the IDDSI guidelines. I mean, it is something which is still ongoing in Singapore, and that's something that, as a company, we want to adhere to standards that, the future would have in place. And with the dietitian's expectation, we want to align with the nutritional values that's given to both the patients in the hospital. So there are a lot of key learnings we take away from this research collaboration. It's not just one menu, but every day the patients want something else. So that's like 30 days in a month. We really need to look at the widespread of menu selection, and every menu, every food has its different chemistry, whether it's too much water, too much protein. The protein content. It kind of tweak the way we actually develop our food. Okay, and basically, the team has to be very creative in terms of the sauces. So what do they want? What kind of taste, but what kind of taste they miss. So that's something that we also tried a few times to perfect that. The nutritional values and the ingredients importance. And basically, in serving food in a healthcare setting, food safety is always a concern. In every batch that is sent out, nutritional content, food safety, every batch. So this is something which, I can share with you guys on our research collaboration. So implementation, we did an implementation at the end of life home in Singapore with a local partner. So this local partner is a catering partner. So again, the key learnings that we look at. So this is something that we presented. It was heated in the factory, and we send this out. We make sure that the plate and the food is actually maintained at 75 degrees. It gets into the oven there, or the heater there before it's been served onto the plate. So another key learning experience is the extensive menu requirement and development. So again, I have to say food safety, food safety, food safety. So that is something which is really very important. Delicious and flavorful. So the outcome we found that is a home where it houses the end of life. There are patients like struck with cancer, and basically it's the last stage of their life. And we hope, and we even the operation guys, the kitchen people there, they had the same vision as us. It's really to provide the best, the tastiest food that they will not have anymore. So they really like the food, and the softness, the resemblance of food to its natural taste. So because we don't put any other preservatives, so we actually make sure that all the food that is being served is as natural as it gets. Then again, there are challenges we have because IDDS guidelines is relatively new, and we had to maintain the standards at the kitchen and also educate. With the speech therapists there, we had to educate the kitchen assistant in terms of, hey, this is not correct, and the way it's being heated. And the implementation, the third one, which I think it should be very knowledgeable to share you guys in a nursing home in Singapore with a partner. So things that we also learn, food is not just one set of food, but it's very extensive menu requirement and development. And in a nursing home, operationally, from the time to serve is a very short period of time. What is the best way that we can actually serve the food to make sure that, hey, this is good enough, the elderly is getting the food and the ingredients that is added inside. Food safety, I think I have to keep emphasizing about food safety, because in this space, we don't want our elderly folks to choke or any of the residents to get into any issue in it. And lastly is the operational challenge in the kitchen. So like what I mentioned, 2 hours, 3 hours, that's all they have, and they have to serve the food within that period of time. And the outcome, yes, the residents enjoy the food. We serve enough amount to them, and with the right texture, and they finish everything. So the challenges that during this implementation, again, we got to educate. They have been so used to just blending one whole big of food, and now we are just partitioning to show that, hey, this is the protein, this is the vegetable, this is the carbo, and that's how we have to educate the kitchen assistant, the food services, and the nursing. So it's really also from the top-down driven IDDS initiative. Well, at this moment, as you can see on the right, at the institutional, we have two options. We serve the molded puree food, meaning that we will blend and we will mold it, and then we send it in a bags of 1 kg. It's no longer small little bags that we serve to our B2C clients. We serve them in big bags. So it may be 20 pieces, 30 pieces. So once this is sent to the homes, they will do their plating and steaming. That's all they need to do. So all the consistency, texture is bought by us in the company. So we test them every single batch that goes out to make sure that all these tests are passed before we send out to the homes and the institutional. So the breakfast and snacks, we are working very hard to launch them end of this month. Hopefully by next month, the guys can see them available. And in the institutional per se, because of the number of residents there, we do it by kg. And of course, we don't just stop at puree diet. We see that the consistency to get soft and minced diet, especially the level 5, is a request from some of our clients. And as you can see at institutional, we have two settings. The unmolded, that means there's no shape, you just scoop it, and all the content is there, the texture is there, and they do their plating and steaming. So the other parts where you see at the bottom of the screen, you can see all this molded fish, molded carrots, and the individual packs of the sauces that we maintain at the a certain level for them to drizzle on top. This is something that we have two options. So basically, what we encourage the homes to cook their own rice, or the institution to have their own rice, because this is something very simple. It's only the challenge of pureeing the protein and the vegetable to make sure that the fibers will stay. The fiber grain will not stay there. We check all this thing. And of course, we like to leave the food safety and quality and consistency to us to give them that reassurance. And at home, we are pretty proud that we have actually 4 different bento sets. They are very easily, no assembly needed, just pure heat and steam. And this is the consistency of IDDSI level 4. And this has also been used for monthly treats for some of the homes where they want to have the local flavors of the month. So kitchen-wise, operationally, it's also very simple. So right now for the institutional, we have at least 30 over flavors developed, but hopefully by beginning of next year, we might have at least a 3 months menu to be launched. And every single item, every single bag, we have our nutritional content, and everything is published on the website. So we take care to show everybody, how much protein is there, how much calories is there. So check out our website for the detailed information. So this is something which I like to share with you guys with the proud development of my team to look at puree, desserts, and snacks. So on the left side is ang ku kueh that is very, very soft. We re-engineer it and we have already tested it and it's ready for launch. The center is our local flavor desserts, the tri kueh with the topping of tripod. It should still stay there, even the taste is there. This is our chi chong fan taste. Okay. And of course, not forgetting the pre-thickened fluids is something which our company would then work with another Australian company, Flavors Creation, to bring in such a solution, because we are a food manufacturer, but at the moment, some of our clients need a solution as an overall, besides food, we look at the drink. So this is something which we have brought it in, and we're trying to give a full solution to our clients or residents. All right, this is my team. Myself, my co-founder is in charge of operation. We have an in-house speech therapist, my food technology, and my account manager. So my advisor that's here, some of them comes from a manufacturing site, and I have an in-house chef too. Okay, this brings me to the last slide. This is our contact. This is my mobile number. I thank you for this for the time to listen to this presentation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fujisaki from Japan Care Food Conference.
It is a great honor to be invited to speak to you on this occasion. Today I will be speaking about Universal Design Food, UDF in Japan, with the theme of healthy eating for the elderly. Here is what we have today. I'd like to start with the history, background, and overview of UDF. The number of people aged 65 and older in Japan has been growing since 1950 and will continue to reach an all-time high of approximately 36 million in 2019, with the elderly population ratio at 28%. Incidentally, this is about 26 times the size of Hong Kong. Under this background, the Japan Care Food Council has been working to raise awareness of UDF and establish voluntary standards. And currently there are more than 2,000 registered UDF items and 87 member companies, with UDF production volume of about 60,000 tons in 2019. The value of production in Hong Kong dollars is approximately 3.2 billion Hong Kong dollars. Both of them are increasing. UDF refers to processed foods as well as processed foods which shape physical properties and containers, are designed to adjust their shape and physical properties so that they are easy to ingest according to the user's ability. According to the voluntary standards established by the society, there is a wide range of food types including retooled food, frozen food, chilled food, and dried food. A unique feature of the UDF is the uniformity of physical property standards and labeling requirements for all products manufactured and sold by its members. Prior to the definition of UDF, care food companies offered products based on their own idea of physical properties and labeling methods. However, given that the market for nursing care food products is expected to expand further, it was anticipated that users would be disadvantaged and confused if the company did not have any rules for their products. Therefore, the society has developed a 4-level physical property standard for nursing care food and a method of product labeling to make it easier for users to understand and choose. This table shows the 4 categories of UDF. For each category, bite strength and swallow strength are listed. And we provide information on the ease of eating for the following 4 categories. Easy to bite, crushable with gums, crushable with tongue, and no need to bite. For example, if you look at the easy to bite category, the guidelines for bite indicate that bite strength is hard to bite, and large food is a little difficult, and swallowing strength is normal. Therefore, the user can choose the category that is easy to according to these guidelines. The images are provided to help users visualize the shape of each category with examples of rice, egg-based dishes, and meat and potatoes. This is how the UDF symbol appears on the actual UDF product, making makers for the user's choice. Next, we will talk about how the UDF criteria were classified. Let's go back to the table and see the physical standard. Each category of UDF can be selected from bite strength standard and swallowing strength standard. But these categories are based on physical properties such as bulkiness and viscosity of the actual food. In setting up this classification, we referred to baby food and the actual diet served in nursing homes. There are 5 stages of baby food from ready to wean to complete weaning. In some cases, nursing homes have designed and provided graded diets according to the eating functions of their residents. By referring to these, UDF has developed its own physical property standards and completed its definition as UDF. In addition to the 4 categories of foods mentioned above, UDF has also developed standards for thickening foods. Thickeners are foods that add viscosity to liquids, such as beverages, to assist in their swallowing. Before we developed this standard, different food companies use different terminology to describe these thickening states. For example, Some manufacturers called their products yogurt-like or jam-like, even though they were in the same thickened state. In order to make it easier for users to imagine a common thickening state, the Society has tried to unify the wording and labeling of foods that serve as models of thickening. In this year, UDF is used as a common indicator for commercial products for home use, as well as for professional food service products in hospitals and nursing homes. Next up are the benefits of UDF in the marketplace. The products of companies that support the UDF concept are branded with the UDF logo mark for these food categories. Users can select products with the UDF logo mark and can choose from not only one company's products, but also products from multiple companies according to their own preference and ease to eat. On the other hand, the advantage for companies is that as UDF becomes more widespread, users can easily recognize the characteristics of their products by using the UDF brand on their own products, even if they are new to the market. UDF is sold through a variety of channels, including large supermarkets, drugstores, and mail order, making it easy for users to find their right product. The next chart is how the UDF can help the aging population. In Japan, the government seems to have a policy to promote home care even more in order to curb the ever-increasing cost of medical care and nursing care, and to compensate for the shortage of nursing care facilities and nursing care-related personnel as the population ages. On the other hand, the environment for in-home nursing care is not as well developed as hospitals and facilities. In-home care, caregivers spend a lot of time not only caring for the physical person, but also for the food. Compared to physical care, dietary care in particular often lacks the information and knowledge to determine what is appropriate based on the caregiver's condition. Care food differs from the other processed foods in that it requires more attention to uniform physical properties and nutrition. However, preparing and serving an appropriate meal that is palatable and safe can be labor-intensive. UDF can reduce the burden on both the patient and the caregiver by enabling them to make appropriate food choices and reducing the amount of time spent preparing and assisting with meals. In addition to the physical properties of UDF, many UDF products have been developed to provide caregivers with additional energy and nutrients that are often lacking in terms of nutrition. Nowadays, low nutrition is a serious problem for the elderly due to their low intake of food and unbalanced diet. And UDF is expected to be a solution to the problem of low nutrition while maintaining the quality of life of the users because they can take in nutrition through oral intake. In addition to ease of eating, good taste is also essential. In addition to being satisfied with taste, one of the human senses for sight and smell is also important as for nursing care foods. In other words, visually pleasing and palatable food is in demand. That is, manufacturers are making effort to meet this demand. I have recently heard that such foods are now available in Hong Kong. And I believe that the people's expectations in Hong Kong are rising. These are all menus made from UDF. They look very tasty. The packaging also emphasizes the beauty look and taste of product. The packaging is very important for the users to choose a product. Finally, I'd like to discuss the future of UDF. According to the Society's most recent UDF awareness survey, 49% of all respondents said they know that care foods are available on the market, and 1 in 2 citizens are now aware of their existence. We have been doing this for 20 years, but the market for UDF is only small in terms of processed foods as a whole and is still in its infancy. On the other hand, as mentioned earlier, from the perspective of care, as the population ages, elderly people living alone and elderly couples taking care of each other are becoming a serious problem. These parties may be forced to suffer economic deprivation and isolation from society and information. One of the future social policies should be the provision of information and financial incentives from the government to users about food like UDF to support their health of diet as well as physical care. The Society hopes that UDF will actively contribute to improving the quality of life of many people who use UDF. We also hope that HKCSS will play along in promoting the improvement of the dietary habits of the elderly in Hong Kong.
Thank you for listening.
Good day, everybody. I'm going to present the industrialization of soft meals and elderlies in Hong Kong. So I'm going to discuss general situation in Hong Kong, building up ideal meals from culinary to industrial scale, and also something about Okara. Now, for general situation in Hong Kong, then we'll talk about the elderlies. Population of Hong Kong, about 7 million. Over 500,000 is over 65 years old. Estimate 10 to 30% elderly suffering dysphagia. There are totally 857 elderly homes, either government-owned, subsidized, or private institutes, accommodating totally 100,000 residents or patients. For diets, then while those stay at home with families would enjoy adequate care and foods, many elderly home residents may not be fortunate enough to have proper foods. Therefore, conventional meals are of Chinese type. Meals and vegetables are cut into pieces, marinated with seasonings and salt with soy sauce, and then air fried or steamed. Some homes may prepare enough food for their residents, resulting problems from poor nutrition. Some homes tend to employ untrained chefs who merely make ordinary dishes and with prolonged cooking. So then, for dysphagia residents, additional grounding of foods to base form is an usual practice. Okay, then for building up ideal meals, outside source meals are relatively more expensive. However, I believe that industrial products will be more standardized and hygienic, believe a sizable market for ideal meals. For elderlies, development of such meals will be focused on texture, nutrition, and taste. For texture, industrial prepared meals are usually defrozen after mass production, then delivery and storage, and then warm up before serving. Viscosity, consistency, and shape maintaining would be counted as criteria for quality. Traditionally, starches and flours are used to thicken the fluid portion of food on heating. However, there are disadvantages scenarios due to aging of starch base for long-time storage, thus losing viscosity. What to do? The solution: replace some of the starch or flours with hydrocolloids. Santan is recommended in this case. Shape of meal foods usually cannot be maintained upon heating. There is for instance, defrozen to steaming, warming, etc. Then most of them may collapse in this case. Then for solution is to convert the paste to something called the thermal irreversible gel. This is the reaction of calcium cation on soluble alginate solution, similar to caviar formations in molecular gastronomy. Then I'm going to talk a little bit on hydrocolloids. What are they? They are natural plant extracts of soluble fibers of powerful water binding ability. They are carbohydrates, long-chain polysaccharides. In water, after solubilized, then they will contribute viscosity or gelation. Now, normally, they can be used at very low dosage. So, for instance, 0.02 to 0.5% in water. Then what are they? Hydro means water. I think everybody should know. And then what is a colloid? Colloid is a dispersion of small particles in another medium. They are too small to be seen under an ordinary microscope. And however, they are too large to pass through a semi-permeable membrane. Then there's a little bit about chemistry. You can see that water molecules, water-soluble macromolecules of high molecular weight. Okay, then they can bind a large quantity of water, modify the rheology that is flowing of aqueous solutions systems to which they are added. Then source. So where they come from? There are many. There are many sources. For instance, from tree residues, we can have the gum arabic, or we call it cassia, trichosanthe, seeds, fenugreek gum, guar gum, taro gum, locust bean gum, seaweeds, agar, alginate, carrageenan. From fruits, we have the pectin. From tuber, we have the konjac. From microorganisms, we have the xanthan and gelatine. Wood pulp, we have CMC, MC, MHPC. Now, what's a gelation? Gelation is immobilized water molecule movement from gels of different hardness, modulus, brittleness, and elasticity. Temperature increases water mobility and tends to break up to gelation. Due to different unique molecular structure, some gels will break up usually at 80 degrees centigrade. Some are stable over water boiling temperature. The former, it is called thermal irreversible gel. The latter is known as thermal irreversible gel. So, for this, the gels, 3 hydrocolloids will form thermal irreversible gels at different conditions. So they are gelling gum, they are konjac, but in alkaline solution, and then we have the alginate. Alginate is from the seaweed caps, which is a very big the seaweed, as you can see on the photographs. Then they will react with calcium ion, forming calcium alginate gels. Then to replace elderly meals, mix well a calculated amount of 2% sodium alginate solution to meal ingredients and adequate water. Drop in slowly a 1% solution of calcium phosphate while continue mixing. And also calculate in a calculated amount. Dispense into meal molds, seal and warm in steam, cool and salt, and that's it. To serve, demold the meal to a plate as soon as taken out from room temperature storage or from refrigerator. Steam, then serve. Shape and texture are maintained. So then, for nutrition, it is known that people of insufficient nutrients in daily diets will end up in poor health, disease, and even shortening of lifespan. Elderly are more conspicuous. advice from nutritionists or dietitians should be followed for designing all diet meals. And then recommendation of extra supplements. Extra supplements. And DHA is an omega-3 fatty acid. This is an essential fatty acid for brain health. Delay condition degrading of old people. Leucine and amino acid in muscle building as aged people are losing muscles. Leucine would be of vitamin D. Vitamin D, this is very important for skin and skin health. And also, Okara foods should be attended. They are rich in fibers and protein that elderly generally takes in insufficiently. Now, for taste, sensation, especially tasting of elderly, is deteriorating rapidly. The taste of meal foods is to be enforced. Recommended to add extra sugar, extra ginger, and spices such as cinnamon and cumin to meat. So then, from culinary to industrial scales, then we can see that for culinary, it's a serving small group, and then for industry, is serving large group. Then production serve short time. However, industry serve much longer time. Culinary, small scale production, however, industrial, mass production. Culinary is a kitchen, using kitchen cooking ware. For industry, then we use factory equipment, employ kitchen equipments. To scale up to industrial production, basically, every parameters will be maintained as much as possible. However, large size equipments are to replace the kitchenware. For example, pan and pot use a boiler. Steaming set, double jacker of boiler, which can run hot water, steam, or even oil of high temperature. So to facilitate flow of content from boiler to packing, wire tubings, hydrocolloid xanthan may be incorporated to content for pseudoplasticity. Delay setting is from fluid to gel. Time and site must be controlled. That type and quantity of calcium salts also have to be adjusted. Okay. Finally, we talk about something on Okara. What's it? Okara is treated in Hong Kong as a typical waste or residues as obtained from production of soybean milk or tofu, which are generally drink and foods of local populations. It is also known as soybean drag. According to a survey, it is the top compositions, 31%, of municipal solid waste of over 3,000 metric tons per day according to statistics in the previous year. They are all disposed to landfill. Disposing to landfill not only causes problems of ecology, but also economy. So, what's Okara? In fact, it is a very precious material. Has high moisture content, say about 7 to 80%. General composition on the dry weight is carbohydrate, 3.8 to 5.3%, protein 15.2 to 33.4%, dietary fibers is about half. Then plus micro components like vitamins, minerals, and also phytochemicals. rich in nutritious materials, especially fiber and protein. Okara is expected to be one of the valuable ingredients for elderly food, including the dysphagia suffering sectors. Then, after adequate purification and dehydration, Okara may substitute wheat flour for producing many types of floury goods after processing. And in fact, we have found that substitution may be as high as 30%, yet tastes not much affected. And then the core value of Okara in foods: high nutrients, sustainability, promoting community, low cost, easy to make at home, insipid taste. So we have several examples to that we did make at home. Okara bread loaf. I have that. And Okara steamed bun. Okay. And then we also have the cookies. Okara cookie, also the Okara bread. You can see that for the bread we have the Okara one and also the normal. So, potential Okara soft meals for elderly and grassroots families. Then for consumers, acceptability shall position as high fiber and protein food, and not as Okara or say because people would feel that it is a soybean milk waste and this is no good, and we will say that this is a position as a high fiber and protein. That's much better. Enable poverty families the affordability in reliable access to sufficient and nutritious food. Provide alternative source of energy intake. Help in preventing chronic diseases. Reduce prevalence of constipation, especially residents in nursing homes. Then for ecology and environmental, we envision the acceptance of Okara foods starting from elderly and grassroots families who gradually expand to general food consumers. We reuse its precious food source from the bin and complete the waste reduction chain. We need more people to involve in social promotion and education to increase awareness for ecological and environmental benefits. So, thank you very much.